Gemini is a Google AI assistant, and for decades we have been trained to Google it, right? We type in keywords, sift through ads, and click different links to find one answer. But there is a massive shift happening. As shown on the left hand side, Google search is a librarian. It tells you where the book is. Whereas Gemini is a researcher, it reads the books for you and gives you the summary, as shown on the right hand side of the screen, right? So using Gemini for free means you stop searching and start finding. Instead of best 3-day itinerary in Rome, which you normally typically type in Google, you'll say that, hey, I have 3 days in Rome. I love history but hate crowds, and I am on a budget. Build me a plan. So Gemini doesn't just give you links, it gives you a finished product. And importantly, this is a conversational researcher and it is free. If you have a Google account or if you sign up for Google Gemini, you can start using Gemini too. So instead of searching for those terms in Google search engine, you can start using Gemini so that it is tailor-made for your tasks, right? So it's a pretty cool way of using Gemini. So on the next screen, you see that this is the typically you try to search for anything in using Google search engine. And if you want to use Gemini, you can use Gemini using your sign-in credentials. You can go to gemini.google.com for a web version, or you can download the app on your mobile devices. So it's pretty easy to use, right? So let us see what we could do with Gemini. So the best part is this Gemini is free. You don't need a tech degree or a subscription, right? For example, if you type in this text into Gemini, it will summarize that into 3 important points. That is the simplification, right? Gemini simplification is pretty cool. And another use case could be, for example, there is a person called Sarah, and she has received some legalese document. And if she types in that or uploads that image, Gemini will give you a simplified view. It gives in 3 bullet points whatever is there in that particular document or text or whatever. So the simplification is pretty easy, and the thing is it's pretty easy to use it and anyone can use it. If you're able to Google it, you can use Gemini, as simple as that. So this is the real world case, right? You don't have to spend hours together going through the documents. Instead, you upload all the documents or whatever text, automatically Gemini will summarize it. And again, if you want to compare, for example, Gemini is part of a Google ecosystem. And as shown on the screen, compared to other AI assistants like Claude or others, ChatGPT and all. So you have those advantages, right? Those are the center of the screen is Gemini, and you can see all those advantages, right? It is part of the system. And you might have heard of Claude or other AI co-workers. While they are excellent writers, Gemini is a unique home court advantage, right? So that means integration is there. Gemini lives inside your Google ecosystem. That's a pretty cool thing, right? So because Gemini is plugged directly into Google search, it is often better at real-time events, like what's the weather in London right now, in case if you want to find out, you can find out. Yes, other AI assistants also can do this, but having this in the Google ecosystem is pretty advantage. You have a home court sort of advantage. That's a pretty cool thing. And let us see what we could do in case if you have a typical workflow. How could you do that, right? So to truly master Gemini, one could follow the triple S rule, which is be specific and look at the style you want, and you want to step by step, you want to get the information, right? So don't just say write a letter. Say write a polite but firm letter to my landlord. Say, for example, in case if you have a leaky faucet or something, you can ask Gemini to write a letter for you. That is specific, right? And you can tell the style. Tell it who to be, right? Act as a professional career coach and critique my resume, for example, right? That is another way. And another S is step by step. Ask it to work in stages, right? First, give me an outline for a healthy meal plan. Then you approve it. And then give me the grocery list group by aisle. So these are the step-by-step things, right? Once you're treating that as a collaborative researcher, rather a search engine, you can unlock 10 times more value. That you need to keep in mind, right? And another thing is the biggest mistake people make with AI is thinking they aren't techy enough, right, to use, because AI is something which is a little bit difficult for a non-technical people to understand. But Gemini made it pretty simple. If you can Google it, like I said, you can, if you can send a text message, you can use Gemini. It's pretty simple as that. So the future isn't about knowing how to code, it's about knowing how to ask. So go to Gemini today and try to use it uh, to perform any of the required tasks in your case. So that is pretty important, right? So you have to treat it as a collaborative partner, and instead of just finding answers, you can find a creative partner so that you can get the required information based on your needs, right? So for example, this particular video I have prepared by using Gemini, right? So entire structure for the masterclass was actually co-created with Gemini. I just didn't find answers. I found a creative partner. As you can see, this is the workflow. So these are the back and forth between me and the Gemini. So I have all those answers. So I can, like I said, triple S method. So I just wanted to find out more and try to tweak whatever response I got from Gemini. So that way I got whatever I wanted. In the end, I could ask Gemini to create the script. So thanks to Gemini, I am able to create this video, including the script, etc. So including the images and stuff like that. Once I am done that, in case if I'm a teacher or something, if I want to give a handout to the students, this is what I wanted Gemini to prepare for me. So it just prepared whatever workflow I have created. It took that workflow and created these handouts. This will be pretty cool, right? So you can see there's a creator, Gemini response, and you have those images, and you have the content strategy. And instead of searching, you can start using Gemini, and you can look at the real world examples, case studies, and finally you have a workflow. So these are the steps which we have gone through in the workflow, right, in the previous section. So, and the phase two is creative iteration, right? It is going through step by step, Gemini. And that's an advantage. We have used the triple S method, simple, scannable, and supportive. And it's a simplified interface. Anyone with basic computer knowledge can use it. So before complexity, that's what the case, medical jargon. And Gemini kind of simplified everything, right? That's what we have seen in those two examples. And also you are turning concepts into high fidelity technical graphics. All the graphics you have seen was generated by Gemini. So I not only prompted Gemini to give me what I wanted to create a video, and it also gave me option to create images as well. So the prompt was this, and I refined it and I executed. I got everything from Gemini. So it's a collaborative partner. Normally it would have taken me hours together, but in an hour or so, I could create this particular video along with the script. So it's great to use Gemini. And if you haven't started, please start using Gemini. It's a pretty good tool and it's pretty useful, and it is part of the Google ecosystem. So hopefully this will motivate you to start using Gemini effectively. And this is the masterclass workflow again, and use it effectively. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.